I'm 78 years old. I flew F-4 Phantoms over Soviet airspace during the Cold War. And what I'm about to tell you might make you angry. It might make you uncomfortable, because everything you think you know about war, the glory, the heroism, the honor, is a lie. Before you click away, I need you to understand something. I've watched 3 of my closest friends explode in midair. I've spent 47 years waking up at 3 a.m., drenched in sweat, hearing alarms that aren't there. I don't have much time left. And there are things the next generation needs to hear before it's too late. November 1962. I was 24 years old. We'd just come off the Cuban Missile Crisis. The whole world thought it was over. Kennedy and Khrushchev shook hands. Everyone went home, crisis averted. Nobody told you about the flights that happened after. I was stationed in West Germany. Our job was simple. Fly reconnaissance along the Soviet border. Gather intelligence. Don't get shot down. Don't start World War III. Simple. One night, and I remember this like it happened yesterday, we got scrambled at Oro 200. No warning. No briefing. Just get in the air, now. I'm flying in complete darkness. Radars glitching, radios cutting in and out. And then I hear it. Missile lock. That sound. You never forget it. It's not like in the movies, some dramatic alarm. It's this cold mechanical tone that tells you, you have approximately 8 seconds to decide if you want to die. I didn't know if it was Soviet. I didn't know if it was friendly fire. I didn't know anything. I just knew that if I made one wrong move, my country and theirs would be at war within the hour. I was 24 years old, and I had the fate of human civilization in my hands. That sentence still breaks me. Here's what nobody tells you when you're young. You think war is heroic. You've seen the movies. Top Gun, the recruiting commercials, the parades. You think it's about brotherhood and courage and defending what matters? Let me tell you what war actually is. War is watching your wingman, a guy you ate breakfast with that morning, a guy whose kid you held at his christening, get turned into a fireball at 40,000 feet. And you can't do anything. You can't even slow down. You just keep flying. War is coming home, and your wife looks at you, and she doesn't recognize the man standing in her kitchen, and you don't either. War is sitting at your daughter's wedding 30 years later, surrounded by happiness, and all you can think about is Tommy Hendricks, who never got to see his daughter at all because his daughter was never born because Tommy was 23 when his plane went down over the Baltic. You think you have time to figure this out. You think war is something that happens to other people, in other places. That's the lie. The lie is, I have time. The lie is, it won't happen here. The lie is believing that the people who start wars are the ones who fight them. They're not. It's always the 24-year-olds. I want to tell you about the things I can't forget. I remember the silence. People think flying a fighter jet is loud, and it is, until something goes wrong. When your radar dies, when your radio cuts out, when you're flying blind over hostile territory in the middle of the night. It's the loudest silence you'll ever hear. You're alone, completely alone, and every second you're waiting for that tone, that lock, that flash of light that means your time's up. I flew 247 missions. 247 times I took off not knowing if I'd land again. We lost 8 pilots from my squadron over 3 years. 8. Danny Kowalski, best pilot I ever flew with. He had this laugh. You could hear it across the tarmac. Gone. His plane just vanished one night near the Czech border. We never found him. His family never got a body to bury. Marcus Webb, quiet guy, brilliant navigator. His wife was pregnant when he shipped out. She was still pregnant when we told her he wasn't coming back. His son is 60 years old now. He's never met his father. Jimmy Chen, my roommate. We used to talk about what we'd do after. He wanted to open a restaurant, make his grandmother's dumplings, teach his kids to cook. Jimmy's buried in Arlington. There's a headstone with his name on it. But there's no body underneath. There wasn't enough left. These weren't statistics. These were men who laughed and cried and had dreams and wanted to live, and they died. Not in some great decisive battle, not saving the world, but on routine flights over borders that don't even exist anymore. For nothing. Let me ask you something. If your country called you tomorrow, if they said, "We need you to fly a plane into hostile territory, and there's a 1 in 30 chance you don't come back," would you go? What if they told you why? What if they said it's for oil, for territory, for some line on a map drawn by men who died before your grandfather was born? Would that be worth your life? What are you waiting for? What are any of us waiting for? We came this close to ending everything, not once, dozens of times, times you've never heard about, times that are still classified, moments when the entire fate of humanity rested on one radar operator, one pilot, one general deciding not to push the button, and we got lucky. Every single time we got lucky. How many more times do you think our luck will hold? When you've stared death in the face as many times as I have, you learn something. You learn that time is a lie. You think you have decades. You think someday means something. It doesn't. Someday is a story you tell yourself so you don't have to act today. I'm 78 years old. Most of the men I served with are dead. Some from combat, some from cancer, some from the bottle, because that's the only way they could quiet the noise. I'm still here. I don't know why. Luck, probably. The same stupid luck that kept missiles from hitting me, that kept my engine from failing, that kept my country and theirs from incinerating each other over some God-forsaken airstrip in the middle of nowhere. But I'm on borrowed time. We all are. My wife died 3 years ago. 49 years of marriage. You know what she said to me, right at the end? She said, "I'm glad you came home." That's all. After everything, the nightmares, the drinking, the years I was physically present but mentally still flying over Soviet territory, that's what she said. "I'm glad you came home." So many of my friends' wives never got to say that. Listen to me. I need you to really hear this. The people who send young men and women to die in wars, they don't go themselves. They never have. They sit in comfortable rooms and move pieces on a board and talk about acceptable losses and strategic interests. Acceptable losses. Let me tell you what an acceptable loss looks like. It looks like Danny Kowalski's laugh disappearing forever. It looks like Marcus Webb's son growing up without a father. It looks like Jimmy Chen's dumplings that will never be made. There is no glory in war. There is no honor. There is only loss. Devastating, permanent, irreversible loss, dressed up in flags and medals so we can stomach it. And the thing that keeps me up at night, the thing that terrifies me more than any missile lock ever did, is that I see it happening again. I see the rhetoric. I hear the drum beats. I watch young people get swept up in nationalism and pride, talking about enemies and threats and the need to be strong. You want to be strong? Strong is not starting a war. Strong is sitting down with people you disagree with and finding another way. Strong is admitting that your country, your leaders, your ideology might not always be right. Strong is looking at a button that could end the world and choosing not to push it. That's the hardest thing any human being can do. And we have to keep doing it, every single day, forever. I've lived a long life, longer than I deserved, probably, and I've spent most of it carrying memories I wish I could forget. But if there's one reason I'm still here, if there's one reason I wake up every morning despite everything, it's this: to tell you the truth about war. It's not noble. It's not necessary. It's not some glorious adventure that makes men out of boys. It's horror. It's grief. It's watching everything you love get consumed by fire, and it doesn't matter whose side you're on. I'm begging you. I don't use that word lightly. I'm an old man, and I don't have much pride left, so I'll say it. I'm begging you. Don't let them do this again. Don't let them send another generation into the sky to die for nothing. Don't let them convince you that enemies are less than human, that violence is the only answer, that peace is weakness. You have power, more than you know. Every protest, every vote, every conversation where you refuse to accept the easy lie, it matters. The ripples from your choices spread forever. World War III is not inevitable. Nuclear annihilation is not inevitable. The future is not written, but it will be written by you, by your generation, by the choices you make right now while you still can. Please, make the right ones. If this meant something to you, share it. Not for me. For the people who need to hear it, the young people being told right now that war is glorious, that enemies are everywhere, that violence is the only language power understands. They need to know the truth. And the truth only spreads if you spread it. I'm running out of time. But you're not. Use it. I'm 78 years old. I flew F-4 Phantoms over Soviet airspace during the Cold War. And what I'm about to tell you might make you angry. It might make you uncomfortable, because everything you think you know about war, the glory, the heroism, the honor, is a lie.